Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you again. We're playing Utulei today. They're in 10th place, and we should be able to win this one if all goes well. In other words, if we win, and I think if Viala Tonga don't win, I think if they lose or if they draw, then we clinch the league. But I might be off. My math might be a little bit wrong. It's always hard to tell, so whatever. We're just going to go forward and see what happens, and if we are fortunate, then we'll be able to get something here at the end of the match, and if we're not, then we just do it tomorrow. PanSa East FC have not lost this season. We have a single draw that was also to Viala Tongan. That was a 4-4 match that was pretty memorable. Other than that, we have really not even been in danger of losing. In fact, when we played them the second time, which was technically an away match for us, we beat them pretty handedly. So we've had a pretty good season so far, I would say. And I'm not sure if it's because I'm a genius manager or because it's American Samoa and it's not that hard to be dominant. We're back in the red and white again today, and let's get this ball back. And they're going to sit on it here for a second, and that's going to be the end of that highlight. And that really wasn't much of a highlight, even for a introductory one. Not much to see there. Moana now with the ball. Lumps this one forward for Malani and knocks it over to Moy. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for us because he's in the same shade of red that we're in. He doesn't have any white on him. That's the only way we can tell him apart. Palipua lumps this one forward, looking for somebody. Gray ends up with it. Gray is only in his second start, I believe. Ryan Coulter with it now. And you're going to see a lot of different young players playing a little bit more. Kelly with it over to Malani. He's trying to find the other Malani, can't quite do so. You're going to see a lot more of these younger players playing here in the near future because we do have a couple matches left in the season. Might as well give them a shot. And Malani with the header there after the interception, it ends up going nowhere even close to the goal. Still 0-0. Ryan Coulter now knocks this one forward for Malani, and he can't quite find him. And so this will be lumped back, but of course we will win it in midfield again, as we always do. Killed it with it over to Gray. Gray over to Famoana, and he's looking to pass it to Maele, who didn't do anything with it at all. So Maele, who's been kind of quiet the last couple of games, starts this one off pretty quietly as well. We're hoping to get him enough goals so that he at least can get that golden boot, but we'll see what happens. Walter Assam passes this one forward for Famoana. Can't quite find him. It's Gray who wins this one. He's looked really good so far, and he passes that forward over to Famoana, and that's a goal as long as it stands, and I don't see any flag up or anything like that. It would be pretty hard to be offside since that ball was almost across the touchline when that was crossed up. And so this is going to end up being a goal for us, 1-0 for PanSa East FC. You can see Gray doing the great work right there. And yeah, that was a beautiful pass to Famoana. And pretty good teamwork between the two of them. Famoana, of course, hasn't played that frequently, and Gray has barely played at all this season. So he may be one to keep an eye on for the near future. And they have the ball here and are trying to attack, but it wasn't really much of an attempt. Maele ends up with this and brings it over here on the right side and passes it back to Famoana. Famoana over to Malani. Malani with it, and he crosses to the other Malani. And boy, that was a really good stop by that defender because Malani had nothing but goal in front of him. And their goalkeeper was sort of flailing his arms all over the place. Palipua can't quite get his head onto that one. This will end up being the end of the highlight. We can take another look at this one again from this angle. So Malani with the ball will cross it here to the other Malani. You can see that it wasn't really stopped by the defender as much as Malani didn't even look in front of him before he shot. If he had taken that just a little bit over to the left, he would have had nothing but goal. Maele with it now over to Lankilde and is passed forward to Malani, and you're starting to wonder who's actually playing striker here. Maele dropped way, way back. I'm not quite sure why he does that, but he likes to do that for one reason or another. And it's Utulei with this, and Vailai ends up getting it over to Famoana, to Malani. And here now we have something going on here, and there's Maele. I'm looking up to him, and there's the cross, and he can't quite get his head onto that one. Lankilde with it and just takes a shot from range, and that is gathered in by their goaltender, and it's out for a goal kick. And so that is the end of the highlight. And let's see what happens here. About 30 minutes in this match, only a 1-0 lead for PanSa East FC. And we're kind of used to that. I mean, we have had matches where we've had bigger leads than this at this stage. Palipua over to Famoana. Famoana with it, and here we have a chance. Here we have a real chance. You can see those extra defenders looking for Maele, and he just can't quite get the amount of acceleration he needs to get over onto that ball that was intended for him. And it's back to Famoana again, over to Palipua. Palipua knocks this one forward, looking for Maele, who gets his head onto over to Lankilde to Malani. one of the two, and he ends up ahead of everybody else. It's back to Lonkilda, and there's that Malani again, and he finally scores. That is Pela Malani's first goal of the season from the left attacking winger side. That makes it 2-0 for PanSa East FC. He probably should have scored the goal right beforehand, assuming it's the same one. It can be kind of hard to tell from time to time, but that was a very, very well designed pass and a pretty good shot from range. And so now it's 2-0 for PanSa East FC, and we are looking, it says at the bottom, we're looking unbeatable at present. We are probably going to roll our way towards the title, and who knows if it'll be today or if it'll be later on. Gray with it now. Gray over to Malani. Malani passes forward, finds Maile, and he has a shot on goal and scores, and that's goal number 24 for Toa Maile this season. And I really think that if he doesn't start any more games for the rest of the season, he's probably still going to win the top scorer in the country title. It's a surprise. I don't think that he's had a start yet for the national team, but, I mean, he really deserves it. Yeah, Moy got a hand onto that one, and he still couldn't stop that one from going in. I mean, that was just an absolute wicked shot. We're going to take a look at a potential offside, but it really wasn't even that close. They had a defender there on the left side from our angle right here who was a little bit too far back. 3-0, and we're starting to really pile on the pressure here, and our defense looks just absolutely impenetrable. Ryan Coulter over to Walter Assam to Malani, over to the other Malani, down to Gray. Gray with over to Famoana, over to Maile, and he just takes kind of a random shot, feeling pretty good about himself. Wasn't exactly the best move to make, but we can forgive him for that. Considering the 24 goals he has scored so far this season, I think he can take as many shots as he wants. Here is Utulei here with the corner. And they score a goal. That's Poya Pulesala, who scores that one, and that's his first goal of the season, and really first goal for the team. It makes it 3-1 for us, and set pieces is a place where we have some problems. There's not really much we could do about that. It was just simply a good corner. Let's see if we can answer back with one of our own. Walter Assam's going to take this one, and he lumps it forward, looking for Palipua, and that misses everybody, but that has been called for a penalty, and it is the goal scorer who got a hand on that one, and he was so upset he knocked the ball as far as he could the other way. Gray takes the penalty, and it's saved, and so that will be a little bit of padding of the XG stats. I'm not sure why we have Gray taking this. I didn't set any penalty takers, though, so something in the game made the decision that was the right person to have it. So we've had a lot of adventure here in the first half so far. 3-1 is our lead. Really should have been 4-1, but it's all right. We're playing all okay. I'm just going to take a look. Yeah, Gray has a 7.1 rating. We're not going to worry about taking him out even after that missed penalty. There is a rumor that goes around that if you miss the penalty, if your player misses the penalty, it does so much damage to his morale that he just simply can't play anymore. I don't think that that's true. I really don't. I've not seen a lot of evidence for that, but maybe you have. I think that you're okay just leaving him in, leaving things going the way that they were. Atu ends up grabbing that ball and saves a potential second goal. And now let's see if we can go score number 4 for us. But instead, it is fired down towards Collins, and boy, that forces a really good save by Atu. And fortunately for us, he was in the right region, in the right area. You never know with his goaltender. Sometimes he just ends up doing weird stuff. Famoana ends up with his ball, and he's going to try to run it down the field, but then it is intercepted. We'll take another look at this as Collins here for Utulei had a really, really good cross, and that required really, really good hands and quick reflexes from Atu. That's a lot to ask of a kid who doesn't really have good reflexes and whose hands are anything but quick. But it's the amateur league here in American Samoa. We can make a couple exceptions now and then. And it is them with the ball here, and we better get it off. And instead, we have given up a second goal. That's Antonio Poli who makes the goal. And they're saying that's Lonkilda's mistake for the missed interception. And you can see right there, Lonkilda, it wasn't really his mistake. He was mostly not looking after the guy he was supposed to be guarding. We may need to do a little bit of shouting at these guys because this is looking pretty bad. We should be winning this match handedly. 3-2. We're still winning it technically, but I would like to see a much larger margin of victory, especially if we want to actually clinch the league. And we need to get the ball back. And fortunately for us, Palipua is there to get it back over to Maile, down to Lonkilda, who's not having a good game, over to Malani. Milani with it over to Gray. Gray finds Maile, and he tries to just run through the defender. That was a kind of questionable decision, and then we have more questionable decisions there in midfield that allows them to get this wide open shot. Elama Collins, fortunately for us, knocks that one into the second row, but that's not what we wanted to see. The goal kick is won in midfield and then lost again, and a little bit of confusion there, I think, on our part. I think we're confusing some of their players for the referee, and that was almost an equalizer, and fortunately for us, that didn't go in. Otherwise, we would have been in a lot of trouble. I think we will go ahead and key Collins and try to stop him from eating us up like this. I don't know if it will work, though, because I don't know if we have players who quite have the skill ability to play against a player like this, so I don't know. As long as that new Siala, or however you say his name, is going to shoot the ball wide, I think we'll be okay. But yeah, we are looking at a really, really poor defensive performance from this team, and we were doing so well in the first half. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get the ball off of them again and make something happen. It's not, of course, about necessarily the whole game. It's about what have you done for me lately, and you can play well for one whole half and then in a couple minutes lose it all. Atu with it after that interception. Back to Palipua. Palipua over to Famoana and can't quite find him. And this ends up being with Viali, who passes it forward for Milani, who I think is onside. And he simply scores that second goal of the match, second goal of the season. And I'm not seeing any flags up, and that will make it 4-3. How did they get 3? Somehow they have 3 goals. This has happened to me before in Football Manager where a goal will be scored. In this case, it was an equalizer, and there was no highlight showing it. I thought they'd fixed that with FM23. Apparently not, but somewhere along the line there was a third goal for Utulei. That's the first time since I've been recording, at least, that I've noticed that. So it's 4-3 for us now, and this is a much closer match apparently than I thought. This is knocked forward for Maele, and he can't quite get onto it, and it's over to Famoana again, who threads the needle for Maele, and he tries to shoot. It was a pretty rough angle to take that shot from. He could have moved forward a little bit, I think, and that one ends up going wide and remains 4-3, and I was under the assumption it was 4-2. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, and we've got to play defense here again against this corner. I guess it shows that, any given game here in American Samoa, anybody can win, including the 10th place team when they're playing against a undefeated team. And I think that we may need to pull Walter Assam off, who's just not having much of a game. I haven't said his name very much here today. Maele with it over to Famoana. Famoana looks to cross that one in, and it was a really, really reckless cross. He could have waited again. I've been saying this a lot here lately. I mean, at least he wasn't that, eager to lump the ball forward and do nothing with it. But he could have waited a little bit and taken his time a little bit. Would have probably worked out better than he thought. Atu's just having a horrible game. It's hard to say, though, because we only saw 2 of those 3 goals for them. I mean, you can go back and look and make sure that I'm not going crazy, but yeah, there's a little glitch here with Football Manager, and somebody should tell Sports Interactive about it. It's a sort of glitch where if you don't have the thing recorded, it's kind of hard to tell. But I remember that happening a lot with FM22, and it would drive me nuts. Ryan Coulter goes back and grabs this one, passes it over to Atu, and it's lumped forward, finally ends up with Milani. Milani over to the other Milani, and this goes back to Ryan Coulter. Coulter with it, lumps this one forward for Maele, can't quite find him, ends up with Famoana again, and over to Maele, and Maele's got to score here, and he does. He does. Of course, he scores. He must score, and he does. That's goal number 2 for him today. It makes it 25 in the season, and that's probably going to be the clincher here. With 10 minutes left, I don't really see them scoring 3 times or twice even in the space of these 10 minutes. Could happen, but we'll see what happens. That ball was deflected, and it doesn't matter. Maele is getting his goal. Like I said, number 25 of the season. It's been a really, really good season for him so far, and this may be the clincher. Let's just hope that we can hold on here for just that little while longer. Atu has had an absolutely awful game in goal, and he is going to find himself fined all of the 0 euros that he makes. Over to Famoana now. Over to Maele. And his shot is just wide. Moy, their goaltender, didn't really do much about that. I think that he was fortunate that it was wide. That looked a little bit closer than that. Lonkilde now finds Maele once again, and unfortunately he just can't bring it down. And again, yeah, this is what happens at this level. That's the way that we play at this level. We just lump the ball forward and hope that our guy's awful first touch doesn't hurt him too much. Um, it's Kalliope here for Utulei. 4 minutes of added time remaining, and that's it. This is lump forward for New Zealand, and boy, Tapuso almost scored a goal, and fortunately for us, our defender was back close enough to get a foot onto that one and prevent that one from going in. New Zealand takes this one and ends up with that Collins guy again. Moy, for us, ends up heading this one forward, and fortunately for us, that one is far back enough to end the highlight. But this was a pretty scary moment here. I mean, he just barely got onto that one and had to jump in the air to get in the way of that shot. He jumped into the direction of the shot before it was even taken, so it was a real big risk. We got to stop our goaltender from taking shots like that, man. That was ridiculous. Maile scores his hat trick. There you go. 26th goal of the season. Easy hat trick. 10.0 rating is what he should have, and that makes him probably the man of the match today. And he makes it look so easy, doesn't he? I mean, he just sits back long enough, and then he takes his run, pulls it down first time, moves that way, gets the keeper out of the way, and scores a beauty of a goal. And it doesn't matter how many guys they have back. They're not going to stop him there. And as you can see here, it's not really a great angle, but he's clearly onside. And that was a thing of beauty. We have probably about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes left here before the end of this match. And this is going to end, I think, very, very well in our favor. And I don't think that they'll score 3. In fact, I don't think that they'll score even 1 here before the end of this match. But you never know what might happen. And I was wrong. Palauni Tapusoa ends up scoring, and it's 6-4. We didn't even get a replay of that. And so they wind up with the free kick, and Football Manager's been glitching out a lot here. Oh, no, here's a replay. So at least we see something, and that was onside? I mean, really? Anyway, it's okay, I suppose. 6-3. No, they did call that offside, I see. I don't know. Something weird is going on with the score in this match. Something's going on with the game. Maybe it's this new Steam client or something. He's called for offside again. We played 5 minutes out of the 4 minutes of added time given, and we end up with the victory. 6-3 is the win. And yeah, you can see it was Pule Sala had his second goal of the match. Goal number 3 happened in the 58th minute, and we never saw a highlight. So I don't know. We'll see what was going on with that. It's Sports Interactive doing Sports Interactive things. We have an XG of 3.05 in this match, 12 shots on target. We didn't dominate possession all that much, which we're kind of used to getting right around 50%, so it's about the same as normal. Everything else looks pretty good, and I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.